My papa was a Vietnam veteran and suffered from severe PTSD. He was also exposed to Agent Orange and battled cancer for as long as I can remember. He took a lot of medication multiple times a day, but he was still a wonderful grandfather. He made sure I understood my worth, not just as a girl, but as a human. Obviously, the two of us were extremely close, but by 5, I knew what to do when he was having a flashback. Another favorite thing of my papa's were white bulldogs. He absolutely adored them, and they were always named Fred, even when he had 3 of them at once. They were all Fred. It became a running joke in the family with my uncles, no longer calling him Dad, but instead Fred, and he often returned the favor. My papa passed when I was 18. My mom and I were at a horrible time in our relationship, and she refused to let me go to the VA hospital to tell him goodbye. The day he died, I was in my room destroying everything because my mom refused to let me go. I felt a hand on my shoulder, and when I turned, my papa was standing there, smiling, healthier than I'd ever seen him. He smiled wider and said, "Did you think I'd leave without saying goodbye?" And then I heard the phone ring, and I knew it was my mama calling to say he was gone. Fast forward 9 years, and my son had just turned 2 and was playing with some toys in his room. I could hear him talking, but it was more like a conversation, not just playing. I went in and saw him laughing and asked him who he was talking to. At first, all he would say was "friend," but after a minute or 2 of pushing, he finally looked at me and said, "Fred." I froze because while I'd seen my papa many times over the years, I'd never really talked to him with my son, and we certainly didn't have any friends with that name. I asked him what Fred looked like, and he held up one of his army guy toys and said like this, but old. I didn't say anything else. I was emotional, but mostly happy that my son got to meet my pawpaw. Over the next week, he continued to play with Fred. I asked once why I couldn't see him, and my son said, "For me only." That night, I took a picture of my grandparents out of the back of my wallet and laid it on the table. The next day, while my son was eating breakfast, he spotted the picture and snatched it up, yelling, "Fred,